This week, Prime Minister has lost control of everything. He's lost control of the borders, lost control of immigration, lost control of spending, and now has lost control of his cabinet and party. In fact, his foreign minister is now announcing her leadership campaign in the New York Times. The Liberal leader of the province of Ontario has announced she's against his quadrupling carbon tax. The Liberal Premier of Newfoundland is against his job-killing energy cap, and 20 of his MPs want to fire him. How is it that he clings to power when he's lost control?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
We can all see that the Leader of the Opposition has trouble with the ideas that individuals might have different perspectives, and that might be a good thing for a robust political party like the Liberal Party of Canada and all its partners across the country. The Leader of the Opposition refuses to let his backbenchers or any of his team members have any opinions at all. Indeed, he sanctioned them and wrote a letter in their name decrying their advocacy for their own citizens in their communities when it came to delivering money for mayors for housing from coast to coast to coast. He stands for muzzling his MPs. We stand for diversity.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Diversity of opinions, I guess that means the opinion that he should not be Prime Minister. That's the predominant opinion among Liberals across the country. On the front page of the New York Times, you'd think the Foreign Minister would be fighting Trump's tariffs. Instead, she's fighting for her boss's job, where she's described in the headline as a possible successor after she sat down for a photo shoot and made the case. This on top of a Liberal leader in Ontario who's against his quadrupling carbon tax, a Liberal Premier in Newfoundland who opposes his job-killing energy cap. Why won't the Prime Minister get the point? His party doesn't want him anymore.
Yeah. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Let's talk, Mr. Speaker, about standing up for Canada. One of the things that we've seen throughout our history, when Canada is threatened, when it's challenged with a crisis, when people want ill of Canadians pull together across partisan stripes, across backgrounds, across the country to stand up for our neighbours, to stand up for Canadians. That's certainly what we were able to do as a country 8 years ago. Unfortunately, this basic Canadian attribute seems unavailable to that Leader of the Opposition who can't help himself on playing politics with Canadians' well-being.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, this from a Prime Minister who is helping Donald Trump take away our jobs. You can just imagine the President in the Oval Office calling our businesses to say, hey, I saw that you have a quadrupling carbon tax north of the border. Why not come south of the border where there's no carbon tax and other taxes are falling? How about the latest electricity tax the Prime Minister is bringing in that will drive factories south of the border, or his energy cap that will drive away our resource companies? I understand why President Trump wants to take Canadian jobs, but why is this Prime Minister trying to help him do it?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
The problem for the Leader of the Opposition is Canadians increasingly see through his shallow partisan games. If he actually cared about helping Canadians and cutting taxes, he wouldn't have voted against taking off the sales tax for Canadians for the next few months. Right. But he wants Canadians to continue to struggle because it benefits him politically, perhaps, instead of actually being there to solve the challenges Canadians are facing. That's why he voted against dental care for seniors. That's why he voted against a school food program. That's why he's voting against a sales tax break for Canadians for the next few months. That's not on, Mr. Speaker.
L'honorable député.
The Honourable Member for Belleuil-Chambly. Mr. Speaker, the Quebec National Assembly unanimously adopted a motion to ask the federal government to put an end to the religious exception for hate speech. Now, everyone here has also at one time or another voted for the end of this religious exception. And that makes sense because it is just and necessary to get rid of that exception. Will the Prime Minister move forward now and get rid of this religious exception to incitation to hate and violence? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, if the Bloc Québécois really wanted to do something about incitement to hate crimes, he would be doing something about this conservative filibuster in this House so that we can finally debate the Bloc Québécois bill that he's talking about, so that we can debate our bill for protecting children online. There are a number of measures that we would be happy to debate so that we can help Canadians, so that we can reduce hate speech. But unfortunately, the Bloc Québécois is not putting an end to this conservative filibuster.
L'honorable député de Belleuil-Chambly.
Mais c'était limpide.
The honourable member. Well, that was very clear, Mr. Speaker. But we know that we know that 66% of Canadians and 75% of Quebecers want to put an end to this religious exception. Will the government remove 2 sections of the Criminal Code? Will the Prime Minister put his money where his mouth is? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, I would be so happy if we were here in this House discussing these important issues. Too many Canadians are facing hate and discrimination these days. And we want this Parliament to be able to debate the problem and bring forward legislation to fix the problem. But unfortunately, the Conservatives are continuing to block the work of this House, and the Bloc Québécois is not doing anything about it.